continued multi-front fight against the coronavirus, the Trade Kings Foundation donated surface disinfectants, hand sanitizers, hand sanitizing stations, hand soaps, foodstuffs, and face masks to the Zambia Correctional Service at the Mokobeko and Mwembeshi Correctional Facilities. Handing over the donation, Trade Kings General Manager Mr. Lux Subramaniam was humbled to have the opportunity of Trade Kings Foundation fulfilling its pledge in the prevention of the spread of COVID-19 in the correctional service centers.
The efforts through your leadership to prevent the spread of virus into the prisons, considering the already existing challenges, is indeed commendable. The prisons were amongst those identified as hotspots with the great risk of the spread of virus. We are cognizant of the importance of prisons and the prisons population in our society in general. Trade Kings, through its foundation, is also aware of the already existing and unique challenges in the prison, which primarily includes hygiene.
Mr. Subramaniam emphasized that the efforts being made in the fight against COVID-19 are a part of the Trade Kings Group's commitment towards improving lives. This remains the group's highest resolve, and inmates across the country have not been excluded. On receiving the donation on behalf of the Zambian Correctional Service, Commissioner General Dr. Chileshe Chisela was thrilled by Trade Kings Foundation's noble gesture of bringing items that will help with the protection against and prevention of COVID-19.
Mokobeko Maximum, on an average, hosts more than 2,000 people. And you could imagine the cycle that would be there if just a single infection entered this, facility. And I mentioned that these 2,000 people are not separated by their relatives, who always come on a daily basis to visit them. And those visitors who come are mingling with us in bus stops, in markets, in shopping malls. And so it would be a very vicious cycle that would be very difficult to actually contain. And hence, we are so thrilled by Trade Kings for this noble gesture.
Member of Parliament for Wacha constituency and Central Province Minister Honorable Sidney Mushanga sent a big thank you to Trade Kings Foundation for the timely donation.
Mr. Lux, the General Manager representing Trade Kings Foundation, you go and tell your colleagues that it is true, you are kings in trade. Because we have seen that since the COVID-19, 2 cases were reported in this country, you responded swiftly and you've accompanied the government of the Republic of Zambia in responding to the challenges of COVID-19 from day one. And there hasn't been a time when you've been tired in providing solutions.
In conclusion, he stated that the donation the Zambia Correctional Service received today will be put to good use. Giving a vote of thanks on behalf of inmates, James Msonda gave exceptional appreciation to the government of the day through the Commissioner General, who has a policy of not leaving anyone behind in the quest to have a healthy nation.
We as inmates are deeply worried about our relatives out there and society as a whole, and more especially on the medical personnel whose lives are being risked as they administer treatment on people suspected to have COVID-19 and those that are found to have it on them.
On welcoming and receiving the donation, Mwembeshi Correctional Facility Officer in charge, Mr. Malambo Hamunyemba, was delighted and excited that Trade Kings showed care for the less privileged, such as the incarcerated, as it is very rare that they are remembered.
We took this as a very, very rare blessing because we thought that even if we could be condemned in one or the other, but there are people out there who are really thinking about us. And then this also gives us the energy as the correction officers, and also the impetus to make sure that we continue pushing in as far as rehabilitation programs are concerned, because minus love, it's very difficult to rehabilitate and reform somebody.
Trade Kings Head of Corporate Affairs, Bridget Kambobe, conveyed great pleasure that Trade Kings, through the Trade Kings Foundation, was giving back to the community and being part of the solution.
It is the Zambian people that have contributed to what Trade Kings has become today, and this recognition we have taken through the foundation. We also, officer, are aware of the conditions under which you work and look after our inmates. We realize that public health in the prisons is a very important factor. And for that reason, we saw it important and we deemed it very urgent to make sure that the prisons were protected.
In ending her speech, she highlighted the importance of public health in the prisons as being important. Chilanga Member of Parliament, Honorable Maria Langa, began her speech with thanking Trade Kings for the great donation and generosity shown to Mwembeshi prisons.
As people of Chilanga constituency, we value your generosity and sacrifice. It's not the first time that Trade Kings is donating. Trade Kings, from the time this COVID started, have always been on the media donating, fighting this COVID-19. So we are fighting together. It's not only affecting us as Zambians, it's affecting the businesses, it's affecting the economy of this country. It's also not only affecting the economy of this country, it's affecting the economies of the world. Many countries and the world at large has been affected by this pandemic, which is ravaging the countries.
Giving a vote of thanks on behalf of the inmates, Malcolm Lwamba gave God the glory as they did not anticipate this donation.
Your big hearts have thought of people like us in prison. We offended society, but you must also know that the correctional programs that have been put in place are working. And we are really grateful to Zambia Correctional Service for the work that they're putting in. On behalf of the inmates that can't be with us today due to this corona pandemic, I'm saying a big thank you to the Honorable Member of Parliament and to Trade Kings Foundation.